You're standing at your desk for the last time. There's a small cake in the break room with your name spelled wrong. 40 years. Same company, same badge, same parking spot. Everyone claps. Nobody tells you the number yet. The one that's been quietly forming since your first paycheck. The one that decides whether this ending feels like freedom or like a door closing on something you can't get back. Here's what nobody told you before you signed on for forever. Rewind. Year 1. You took the job because it felt stable. Health insurance, a pension plan, a manager who said, people grow here. You weren't chasing excitement, you were chasing security. You told yourself, jump around too much and it looks bad on a resume. Stay, and they'll take care of you. Loyalty gets rewarded. That's what you were taught. And for a long time, the raises came. Not huge, but steady. Predictable. You could plan your life around predictable. Here's a number worth sitting with. The average U.S. worker today stays at a job about 4 years before moving on. You weren't average. You were the exception everyone said they admired. And honestly, staying was the logical move. But logic doesn't account for what comes next. The first few years feel good. You know the systems. You know the people. You stop needing directions to the good coffee machine. There's comfort in mastery. Your paycheck grows a little every year. Not fast, but enough. You buy a car. You take a real vacation. The company throws you a 5-year pin, then a 10-year pin. You wear it, sort of proud. Nobody's asking what your skills are worth outside these walls. You stopped checking a long time ago. Most people stop paying attention around here. That's the first problem. Here's what actually happens while you're comfortable. The market moves. Salaries for your exact role at other companies start climbing faster than yours. You don't notice because your own paycheck is still going up. Just slower than it should. By year 15, someone with your skills who switched jobs twice has out-earned you by roughly 50%. Not because they're better, because switching resets your market price. Staying lets your employer quietly decide what you're worth, and they almost always decide enough to keep you, not enough to lose you to someone else. Your network stops growing too. You know everyone here. You know almost no one out there. If this place ever needed to shrink, you'd be walking into a job market as a stranger. I know what you're thinking. But we're not at the important part yet. Your pension, your loyalty, your seniority. All of it is tied to one single point of failure. One company, one decision maker, one earnings call you'll never sit in on. Year 32. The company announces a restructuring. Not you. You're safe this time. But half your department isn't. You watch people your age, with your same tenure, walk out with a box and a severance check that doesn't match the decades they gave. That's when you finally do the math you never let yourself do. You pull up your salary. You pull up the market rate for your title, right now, at other companies. The gap is real. It's not a rounding error. It's not close. This is the part people don't simulate before they decide. Here's the simulation. 2 people start the same job, same salary, same year. One stays 40 years. The other switches employers every 4 to 5 years, negotiating a fresh market rate each time. By retirement, research on job switching versus staying consistently shows the switcher out, earning the stayer by 30 to 50% cumulatively over a career, sometimes more, depending on the industry. On a $70,000 starting salary, that gap can compound into several $100,000 by the time both of them retire. It's not because the stayer worked less hard. It's because loyalty isn't priced into a paycheck. Market rate is. And market rate only resets when you re-enter the market. The pension, the stability, the gold watch. Those were real. But so was the quiet cost sitting underneath them the entire time, one you were never shown until the numbers were already final. None of this makes you foolish. You did what you were told worked. For a long time, it did. But here's the one thing worth doing differently. Starting now, regardless of where you are in your career, every 2 to 3 years, find out what your role is actually worth elsewhere. You don't have to leave. You just have to know. That single piece of information is what turns loyalty into a choice, instead of a default. Staying can still be the right call, but only if you're choosing it with your eyes open. That's what no one shows you. Until now. Next week, we're simulating what actually happens the first year after you max out a credit card just this once. If you want to see what that actually looks like, subscribe. It's free, and it might matter.